Jhoan Duran has an opportunity to set a single-season franchise record for the Phillies in 2026. My name is Matt Watson, and today we will talk about whether or not Duran can set the single-season saves record for the Philadelphia Phillies. Last year, at the 2025 trade deadline, the Phillies made a huge splash. They added Duran from the Minnesota Twins in a deal for top pitching prospect Mick Abel and top catching prospect Eduardo Tait. Both players were in the MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospects heading into last year's deadline. Abel made his debut with the Phillies in 2025 with a stellar performance against the Pittsburgh Pirates. In my opinion, that performance alone skyrocketed Abel's value and allowed him to be a centerpiece in this deal. Tait, who is still a few years away from his big league debut, is considered to be one of the best catching prospects in all of baseball. His value comes in offensively rather than defensively. Tait looks to be one of the best hitting catcher prospects in baseball, but his defense still has some work. He does project to be a big league DH, potentially might get moved to first base, but there's no doubt that he can swing the bat. This was a move that the Twins felt was worthy enough to move on from their stellar closer. After the trade, Duran quickly became the Phillies' closer. In fact, from the moment that Duran put on a Phillies uniform, he was the team's closer. Duran led the Phillies in saves last season with 16, despite being on the team for only 2 months. He was 16 for 19 in save opportunities and pitched in 23 total games in the regular season. The next closest in saves was Jordan Romano, who had 8. It has been a long time since the Phillies have had a star closer. Jonathan Papelbon was the most recent. Before Brad Lidge, there was Jose Mesa, who in 2002 set the franchise record with 45 saves, breaking a record that Mitch Williams set in 1993. Mesa, the year before, in 2001, had 42 saves. These two great seasons launched Mesa to the top of the Phillies rankings in terms of saves all time. This record would later be broken by Jonathan Papelbon, who is still the all-time saves leader in Philadelphia. Not only does Duran have a chance to break 45 saves this season, but I do think with a couple strong seasons, he could set the Phillies' all-time saves record. For his career, Jhoan Duran has an 89% success rate in save opportunities. That mark is one of the best in baseball history, let alone current modern baseball. It took Duran just 19 opportunities to earn 16 saves last season. I expect him to have far more opportunities in 2026. The most games he's ever pitched in was this season with 72, with 59, 58, and 57 in years prior in Minnesota. While those Minnesota teams were solid, they were never contenders like the Philadelphia Phillies are heading into this year. I do expect Duran to pitch at least in 60 games this year, if not 70 once again. If the Phillies can give him roughly 50 to 55 save opportunities, I think Duran will break the record of 45 saves this season. In fact, if they continue to give him opportunities, I think he could set a mark that will be very hard to break in modern baseball. Not many teams have a set closer anymore, often going closer by committee. This is something that Rob Thompson has done in years past. I do feel as though that if a team has a star at their closer position, it gives them a leg up over everybody else. Despite every team knowing that Jhoan Duran will enter the game in the ninth inning if it is close, they still have to stand in the box and hit 102 miles an hour. Not an easy feat by any means. I think that Jhoan Duran will shatter the Phillies single-season saves record. Let me know in the comments below how many saves you think he will finish 2026 with. Will he break the record this year? Can he then go after the franchise record in just a few seasons? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.